You know what's funny? Most retirees think the biggest financial relief in retirement comes when you finally get that final paycheck. But the real relief, the real peace, comes from something much quieter. You stop buying things you once thought you needed, and you don't miss a single one of them. But here's the twist. Most retirees, they don't even realize this until they're already deep into retirement. And the things they stop buying, they reveal something powerful, something emotional even, about how retirement actually changes you. So today we're going to talk about the surprising things retirees stop spending money on and why letting go of these things feels like freedom. But we're also going to talk about the tension behind it all, because some of these things weren't just purchases. They were identities. Now you're going to want to stick around for number 10 because I think it's the most powerful one there is. So, all right, let's jump in. This one's pretty big too. Nobody wants to admit it, but it's status. Not the word, not the concept. The purchases that were really about status. You know exactly what I mean. The upgraded phone, the clothes that looked professional, the watch that said, "I'm doing well." The dinners that were more about being seen than about being fed. When you're working, you don't even realize you're doing it. It's just part of the environment, part of the game. But retirement hits and suddenly you're not performing anymore. You're not signaling anything to anyone. You're not competing, that's for sure. And here's the tension. You don't realize how much of your spending was tied to identity until the identity changes. Retirees tell me all the time, I don't miss the clothes, I don't miss the car, I don't miss the pressure. Because retirement strips away the audience. And when the audience disappears, so does the need to impress them. What replaces it? Comfort, simplicity, ease. You stop buying status and you start buying peace. The second thing we stop buying? Bulk anything. Let's talk about Costco or Sam's Club or BJ's. You know where this is going. When you're raising a family, buying in bulk feels like a superpower. You're saving money. You're stocking up. You're being responsible. But then retirement hits and suddenly you're standing in the aisle holding a 48 pack of toilet paper thinking, who am I feeding in this neighborhood? You're not buying for a family anymore. You're buying for two or sometimes just one. And that shift hits people harder than they expect. You stop buying bulk because you don't need it. You don't have the storage. You don't want the waste. And honestly, I don't want to lift it. Do I really need 50 pounds of rice? Seniors tell me, I don't miss the giant boxes. I don't miss the giant cards. I don't miss the giant 3-yard long receipts. What do they enjoy? Buying fresh, buying smaller, buying what we actually need, not what we should want, but what we need. It's not just a spending change, it's a lifestyle change. The third thing retirees stop buying, trendy technology. Folks, this is a big one. When you're working, you feel like you have to keep up. The newest phone, the newest laptop, the newest software, the newest everything. Because if you fall behind, you feel like you're at risk. But folks, retirement gives you permission to step off the treadmill. And here's the emotional twist to it. Retirees don't stop buying tech because we can't use it. We stop because we finally realize we don't need it. We don't need the newest iPhone. You don't need the latest smartwatch. You don't need the $2,000 laptop. All I need is something that works. Something simple, something reliable. And when retirees make that shift, they tell me, I don't miss the upgrades. I don't miss the pressure. I don't miss the learning something new every 6 months. Because retirement isn't about keeping up, it's about slowing down. The fourth thing retirees stop buying, work-related expenses. This one hits kind of hard. When you retire, you stop buying work clothes, work shoes, work lunches, work gasoline, work parking spots, work coffee, work stress purchases, everything related to work. And here's the part that shocks people. They never realized how much money their job was costing them. Not earning, but costing. You know, when you're working, you justify it. Oh, I need this for the office. I need this for the commute. I need this for the meetings. But really, retirement exposes the truth. You didn't need half of it. You just needed to survive the environment. And when retirees stop buying these things, they don't miss them all. They say, I don't miss the dry cleaning. I don't miss the gas. I don't miss the $14 sandwiches at lunchtime, because retirement removes the pressure to maintain a professional version of yourself. You get to be you, to be honest. Did you ever buy something just because work made you feel like you had to? Number 5 thing retirees stop buying: gifts out of obligation. This one's a little emotional, I guess. When you're working, you buy gifts for coworkers, for bosses, for Secret Santa, for office birthdays, retirement parties, baby showers, coworkers getting married, graduations. And half the time, you don't even know the person. You're just participating in the culture, folks. But retirement removes you from that entire ecosystem. And people tell me, I didn't realize how many gifts I bought out of obligation, not out of love. This is where the tension comes in. You stop buying gifts for people you barely know, and you start buying meaningful gifts for the people you actually care about. You don't miss the office parties. You don't miss the group cards. You don't miss the pressure. You enjoy giving again because it's intentional. 6th thing we stop buying? Trendy clothes. This one's huge. You know, when you're working, you dress for the job, the expectations, the culture, the image. But retirement gives you permission to dress for comfort, weather, your mood, your life. Folks tell me, I don't miss the heels. I don't miss the ties. I don't miss the ironing. Not that anybody irons anymore, but I don't miss the dry cleaning, because trendy clothes were never about you. They were about fitting in. And retirement's the first time in decades where you don't have to fit in anywhere. You get to be comfortable. You get to be practical. You get to be yourself again, folks. You know, I've got more t-shirts hanging in my closet than I've got dress shirts now. I don't even own a single tie anymore. And I'm fine with it. The 7th thing retirees stop buying: home decor. Home decor for other people. And this is kind of subtle, but it is powerful. When when you're younger, you decorate your home for guests, for family, for holidays, for impressions. Again, people tell me I stopped buying things for the house because I realized nobody cares. And I don't need to impress anyone. You know, you stop buying seasonal decor, trendy furniture, matching sets, fancy dishware, throw pillows that nobody ever uses. And you don't miss any of it, because retirement shifts your home from performance space back to a sanctuary. You know, you buy what you like, not what looks good. Not what looks good on Instagram. Not what your friends will comment on. Not what the magazine says is in. Your home becomes yours again. Number 8 on the stop buying list. My old favorite: subscriptions. Streaming services, magazines, apps, memberships, clubs, monthly boxes. Retirees tell me, I didn't realize how many subscriptions I had until I retired, and I didn't miss a single one when I canceled them. Because here's the truth, folks. Most subscriptions are designed for busy people. People, we don't have time to think. People who forgot they're paying for things. Retirement gives you time to look at your bills. And you can say, why am I paying for this? And the moment you cancel them, you feel lighter. You don't miss the clutter. You don't miss the noise. You don't miss the monthly drain, that's for sure. The 9th thing retirees stop buying, I love this one: new cars. And this can be emotional, I know. For decades, a new car meant success, progress, stability, movement. But retirement shifts your priorities. You don't need the newest model. You don't need the latest features. You don't need the monthly payments, that's for darn sure. What we need now is reliability, comfort, safety, simplicity. You know, most retirees tell me, I don't miss the dealership. I don't miss the payments. I don't miss the pressure to upgrade all the time. Because retirement isn't about showing off. It's about enjoying the ride. Here it is. The 10th thing retirees stop buying: things to fill the void. This is the big one. This is the one that hits people in the chest. You know, when you're working, you buy things to cope. Stress purchases, impulse buys, retail therapy, they call it. Little rewards, little escapes. You buy things because you're tired, because you're overwhelmed, because you're just stretched thin. But retirement changes the emotional landscape. You're not buying to escape anymore. You're not buying to reward yourself. You're not buying to feel better. You're buying because you want something, not because you need relief. And I'm told I didn't realize how much of the spending was emotional until the emotions changed. You stop buying things to fill the void, folks, because the void isn't there anymore. You don't miss the clutter. You don't miss the guilt. You don't miss the temporary things in life. You enjoy the calm, the clarity, the simplicity. You know, the real reason retirees don't miss these things, and here's the truth: retirement doesn't change your spending. It changes your values. You stop buying things because you don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to keep up. You don't need to escape. You don't need to fill the silence anymore. You don't need to prove anything. Our proven days are over. You've already lived the hard part. You've already done the work. Folks, you've already earned the peace of mind. And the things you stop buying, they're not losses. They're not sacrifices. They're not limitations either. They're signs you finally stepped into a life that fits you. A life that's quieter, simpler, definitely more intentional. It's more honest. And that's why we don't miss these things, because what we gain is so much better. Well, folks, we're halfway through this video series. Next up is the retirement spending trap no one sees coming. And it's coming out on Saturday, May 2nd. Now, I want to hear from you. What's something you stopped buying after you retired and you don't miss at all? Drop it in the comments. Your answer might help another retiree feel a little less alone. And if you found this helpful, hit the like button so YouTube knows to show this to more retirees who might need it. So, folks, as always, thanks for spending some of your day with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.